Yo, what's going on YouTube? And welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and we are taking a look today at another team that has been officially mathematically eliminated from the Stanley Cup playoffs. In their inaugural season, the Seattle Kraken will not make the postseason. Dave Haxtell at the head of things here in Seattle, and things didn't go as planned. Maybe not necessarily. A lot of people had high expectations of this expansion team because of what happened in 2018 with Vegas. Now, whether that's fair or not, I think there's reason to believe that that would be unfair to kind of compare them in that sense. And with the way Ron Francis kind of ran this expansion draft, we aren't really that surprised with what we ended up getting here this season. A team of young guys that are kind of coming on the cusp of becoming full-time NHLers. You have guys like Yanni Gourde, who have a much bigger role in this team than what they had in their previous organization. And just a lot of things maybe didn't go as planned. Philip Grubauer had a really good run in Colorado. He becomes the starter in Seattle, and he has had probably one of the worst seasons in terms of like a drastic decline from where he was last year. So looking at that, you look at Drieger, who hasn't been anything great. Like, there have been some things in Seattle that, especially in between the pipes, just didn't go as planned. Now, necessarily injury-wise, they weren't that beat up with injuries, but this is a team that you just knew going in, they didn't have the depth necessarily, and they traded some more guys at the deadline. And we're going to see the future start to come in here. Matt Beniers, hopefully, over the next couple weeks. His season in the University of Michigan is over, so there's some promise there. But like I said, we all kind of expected them to lose, and quite fittingly enough, it had to be the last expansion team, the 31st franchise in the NHL, the Vegas Golden Knights, to officially eliminate Seattle. But that's kind of how things are. And right now, they didn't go on that magical run that Vegas did, and that's completely okay. That's fine. They're probably going to have another pretty good draft pick this year. Maybe not second overall, Matt Beniers, but who knows? They could get the first overall pick for all we know. Seattle has had a rough season, and we kind of knew that coming in. They were going to be in a Pacific Division that we thought was actually going to be worse than it actually has been. The Pacific's been pretty good. Obviously teams like LA, Calgary play much better than anticipated. Vancouver's been decent. San Jose and Anaheim have actually been pretty good, all things considered. And with Arizona moving out, I would say that the division's better this year than it was last year. So unfortunately, they are the worst team in their division this year. They currently sit 21 wins, 40 losses, and 6 overtime shootout losses. That's 48 points on the season. A .358 point percentage throughout this season. They do have the second worst goals against average, or what is that? Goal differential, I guess it's called goal differential. They have the worst goal differential in the league, only behind the Arizona Coyotes, who have 69. The Seattle Kraken are a -60. So, again, pretty telling. It's not really like this season that's been like they've had a lot of games here where they've gotten blown out. So for Seattle, again, it hasn't been a great season. Goaltending hasn't been up to par. I think the standard of goaltending will be expected to be better. I think Grubauer has to be better. Drieger has to be better. And we could be looking at a situation where Seattle maybe gets closer to 80 points next season, if not even better. Who knows, right? So the Seattle Kraken, like I said, this is kind of what we expected, but you were hoping for more. But this is where they're at right now. This is an organization that's developing from the ground up, and they're doing it the old-fashioned way in terms of an expansion team. But overall, there's definitely excitement for this team. And you just look at you could tell there are glimpses of, progress. And I think that's really what you're hoping for. Their power play, one of the worst in the league, only behind Philly, Arizona, and Montreal, the fourth worst power play in the NHL at 14.9%. Penalty kill is kind of a similar boat here. Again, fourth last in that category as well at only 73.7%. Looking at this team, like I said, you're looking at their top players. Let's take a look at Seattle. What do we got? Here we go. Yeah, so it's the usual suspects. You're looking at Yanni Gourde leading the team with 39 points this season. Jared McCann, who has been very good for the Seattle Kraken this year, a great pickup in the expansion draft. He has 38 points this season. They just locked him up to an extension. Alexander Wenberg showing some promise. That guy that kind of couldn't find his way in Columbus. Seems like he's getting another opportunity in Seattle. And then there's guys where you're seeing maybe some of the young guys. Guys like Morgan Geekie's got 20 points. Daniel Sprong coming in. Seems like there's some potential there in Daniel Sprong. Even Cole Lind, who is still fairly young. This is a team that's going to continually get better. As their guys get a little bit older, more mature, this team is developing. And I have to say, for an expansion team, they've actually been decent. And you look at where they sit in the NHL standings right now, taking a look, they are third worst in the NHL. Second last in the Western Conference, and third last in the NHL. So as of this point, they could be getting a top 5 pick at worst, and I think that's a pretty good start for the Kraken, considering they got a good pick last year, and probably a good pick this year as well. So guys, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. What do you think of the Seattle Kraken? And what's the upside? I think there's plenty of things to be excited about, like Morgan Geekie, like Jared McCann, as well as Matt Beniers. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again.